All right, Shalom Israel. Welcome again to another breakdown podcast where we break down the strongholds that hold back the children of Israel here in Jamaica, Trinidad, Caribbean, North Central, and South America. You understand? All right, so tonight is a special episode where, you know what I mean, the leader of our nation is speaking, commanding General Yana. You understand? He's giving a breakdown on the Pakistan Indian war. So, you know what I mean? Whenever the general speak, you know what I mean, we normally give him the ear, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, because all of Israel need to hear when the general speaks. So tonight is a special edition. So everybody just click up the like, share, subscribe, depending on the platform you're watching on. You know what I mean? And with that, shalom.
I told you to take that garbage out. You understand? We got clothes in here on the floor. Pick these clothes up right here and go put them kids and lay them down to sleep. You know, and you ain't getting none tonight. That's what IUI. The women check them. You know what I'm saying? The IUI say, man, ain't checking nothing. You understand? Rise can rap, Slocky. I had to go on that little rant. That's all good.
Carl, so
Absolute true.
Carl, so we got the general on right now.
We got Commander. Let's bring him on.
All right, he's on, sir.
You know,
Yep,
I'll walk for you now. Rock.
Y'all about Shemel Shabraka Thumb. What's going on? Big chat. What's going on, Warriors? How y'all making out tonight?
Man, we making out good, General. We was just going over the Tyree Nichols story of those black cops that was acquitted, you know what I'm saying, by all white theory of murdering the brother.
Right. Once again, that's a man of low self-esteem would take on that kind of a occupation. For you to want to take on the occupier's position of power means you got low self-esteem to rise among your own. You know what I mean? And the problem with it is this. The problem with it is that we are not, as a people, I'm saying, not in the ISUPK, but as a people, we are not rising to the occasion, and our voice is not loud enough. Our people are not moving in sequence like they should. We still trying to revive old 1960s religions when we need to let them listen. They tried their best. They had their chance. They did what they was, but they failed.
That's it.
Right. They failed, and they programs that you can't be split between two mindsets. You got to have total focus on the Lord's chosen. You can't focus on the Lord's chosen and everybody else.
That's right.
You got to focus on the Lord's chosen and get what has to be done. You understand? And you made a good point how the Christian church, I don't want to run, but you made a good point how the Christian church has raised up fake Israelites who are trying to do the job of the Lord, but be Christians at the same time. Christ already said you can't serve two masters. You either hate one and love the other, and that's what's going on in these little purple groups and these other groups. You can't love being a faggot and try to be an Israelite. You can't love being, a geisha girl and being an Israelite. You understand? You can't love every African, you understand, on every hill and love the Israelites.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. So once again, our people need to be one, just like the scriptures say, and we need to be pushing in the right directions. Like there's a remedy for these cops that doesn't have to mean we lift a finger to harm them or do anything to them. There's major economic power to be utilized from them and from Esau, period, like you brought out earlier as well. Like now is the time to, like the scriptures say, there's a time for all things. And this is not the time to be embracing. This is the time to not embrace. This is the time for us to empower ourselves much, much more. Y'all living in Chicago, one of the most radical towns in the history of Black America. You know what I mean? More revolutions and more movements came out of Chicago than anywhere else in the country.
That's right.
And that's facts. And one of the things that I posted this on my channel. One of the things that the Black Panthers did was that breakfast program. The breakfast program was more deadly to the government than everything else they did with guns, recruiting, radical. That the government didn't care about that. What the government cared more about was the fact that they had this breakfast program.
Right.
And the reason this breakfast program was more dangerous, this is what took them over the top. This is what made them go kill Black Panthers. They understood that this breakfast program meant two things. One, that they would learn how to independently take care of their people. That's something they don't never want us to learn. You could be a preacher, you could take in millions of dollars, you can rape the people all you want, but you can't never organize the people to help themselves. You know what I'm saying? You could have homosexual retreats, you could have all kinds of things. You could put ATM machines in your church. You could do that. You could dress up with the fanciest stuff, buy you all the Rolls Royces you want. But the minute you turn around and say, you know what, I'm going to take all this money, I'm going to come together, and I'm going to show everybody how we survive without being a servant to every single nation, including the slave master that had us in the beginning. You start doing that, and you start messing up the ecosystem of the entire country. Because even the heathens live on your blood. The heathens eat your flesh every day. So if you start to do that, you start to harm that system. And so that's what turned them number one against the Black Panthers. Here's the other problem. The other problem that they had in that scenario was this: a 6-year-old or 7-year-old or 5-year-old child every day for years in his early days comes to a place where Black men are in that are disciplined, that are organized, that are clearly articulate, and they see these Black men helping them, feeding them, clothing them. That you cannot now destroy that image of that Black man and Black woman, because this child is seeing strangers who are not the image that you set out. They seeing strangers that are 10 times better, and it does something to their mind. Here's what it does to their mind. As tragedy comes, as they have hardships, as they run into the usual trappings of life, they will turn to their own, because that's who helped them when they were young.
The camera on all the brothers out.
You understand? So they will learn a horrible lesson. Brother, that's the lesson that needs to be learned from us. We should learn from these past religions real quick. We should learn from these past religions so we can push them to the side, many of which have already long been infiltrated and long become a religion to just hurt what it is that we've been set out to do from the beginning. And we need to come back and take a whole another approach to all of it. Like you said, marching was cute. It was nice looking. Great for camera. Great for the cameras back then.
That's right.
You understand? But there were far more powerful things that those people that filled up the Washington Monument and the pool in front of it, there were far more things that could have been done that would have been changed the landscape of this empire. You go through all of the inventions, we still turning our inventions over, turning our music over, turning everything that we create and dominate and build over for them to just eat and eat and eat and eat while we starve to death. Giant stadiums in cities with tens of thousands of people in poverty. People that can't get groceries, but meanwhile, your stadium selling tickets for $2, $3, $4, $5, $1,000 and more a seat to the white people to drive in from the suburbs and watch Black men do amazing feats. You understand? And then you ride back out to the suburbs, and these people get missed the whole time. We are totally off our mark. So, Locke, I yield.
Damn right. Look it up. So, General, if I may, for the people who may not be familiar or may know about Fred Hampton, who was a part of the Black Panthers, here in Chicago, he was the head of the chapter. Are you telling me, General, the reason them killing this brother was because of a breakfast program.
That if you go back and pull the records, now that Donald Trump has declassified many of these records, you'll hear the conversations with Hoover and others, and they said that the Black Panther breakfast program represented one of the greatest threats to destroying the Black Panther Party.
That to me is insane. We talking about a man, you know what I mean, where they ran up in his house, riddled his house with bullets. You understand? Over a breakfast program, brother. Not that he wouldn't get it. He ain't gonna get no gun and rush the White House. You understand? Or try to blow up a police station. Black man, they don't even want you to start a breakfast program. Right.
Kill the man in his bed next to his pregnant wife.
Right.
And if you just wanna, if you got the stomach to deal with the real world that we live in, let me tell you what they did the night before.
Come on, General.
The night before they had the breakfast program, this is how afraid they was of this program. They had a bunch of white police vans come up into the location, which was in a church at the time. They was renting it out. And the police officers broke into the church that night and went to the area where all the food was at that was stored up to be fed to the kids the next morning. And they pulled out their rods and urinated on the food in the spot. And then came out, left, and went and raided Black Panther homes. Like all for trying to ease the pressure of the starvation that was happening to us. Because at that time, we was in extreme pain. Because, I mean, we were suffering like unbelievably. And we're back in that mode again. Now that you got this president who's determined to shut off every program, wipe out every name, incarcerate every brother that he could get his hands on. So now, of course, our economic state falls even further. And we only have one weapon. We don't have no weapons. We don't have nuclear weapons. We don't have rockets. We don't have bombs. We don't have any of those things. We got one weapon. And that weapon is that brotherhood.
Right.
That's the only weapon you got. It's nice that you have a weapon to protect your family, and you should. Every brother should, especially now. If it can be done legally, you should do it.
That's right.
Okay? You should protect your family, and your brothers and sisters next to you. That's not the weapon necessary to battle the real enemy. To battle the real enemy, you have to have the things that our absolute amazing wartime commander, you understand, Yahushua taught us to have, and that is to have an unbelievably strength in pushing forward in brotherhood and sisterhood. And it might seem a little esoteric to people that are listening. But what you're gonna understand is what every black person should be doing now is you should be studying how people survive in different war zones. That's what you should study. How did people who was under siege, you understand, bombs coming down on their city,
right?
How did they survive? What did they do?
Right.
And those things that they did are golden information. And what you'll find out is in every single scenario, every single person created a way somehow to distribute whatever was available to as many people as possible. Like in a war situation, you're going to forget about your own personal safety because you under so much attack. At some point, you're going to lose the fear of that enemy. And once you lose the fear of that enemy, you begin to be able to think clearly. And when you think clearly, you realize I need as many of these people around me to survive.
That's right.
As I possibly can. And then you will begin to move into that direction. Well, we need to be moving in that direction now because we don't know what tomorrow brings. And certainly, as we should now see, which is why the Christian church is so disgusting, as we should now see, there is no white savior. Where's the white movement against blacks and Latinos? Like if you don't learn this lesson now, then you may never learn this lesson. But right now, there's no white savior. There's not one single white man or woman in this country of any prominence that opens their mouth in outrage at what's being done to us and our Latino brothers all over this country. None of them. Mm-hmm. None of these politicians, none of these white men we loved, no white entertainer, no white newscaster or sportscaster, nothing. Not a single word, which lets you know that your situation is worse than the Palestinians. It just hasn't fallen on us yet. But it's worse than the Palestinians. Just like they went to exterminate the Palestinians, the Arab world became outraged. But if they come to exterminate us, they'll just blame us. The whole world will blame us. And you know why? Because the whole world is eating off of us. That's right. So they're not going to say this was the white man's fault and ours as well. They'd rather just say, well, that's their problem. They caused it. They should have did something for themselves. They should have helped themselves when you were robbing us along with the slave master, telling us we should help ourselves, which meant we would have had to go against you, which was something you absolutely would not allow. You would help the white man oppress us to make sure that you able to eat off of us while we're destroyed.
I'm right. Damn right. Give it up. General, we was gonna go into the next story. If you want to chime in on the joint, or we can go to World War III, the one where the brother ran over killed the cop because the cop killed his son. I know if you want to.
That's up to that's up to you. That's up to you. If you want to go into it, I don't mind. You know what I mean? I might have a little bit different opinion than most, but it's definitely it's definitely something to do.
Well, listen, I think it's time for the entire Black and Hispanic world to hear, you know what I'm saying, your opinion, General. You know what I'm saying? We hear the opinion of these Christian leaders every day. That's right. And these so-called entertainers every day. And their opinion, you know what I'm saying, obviously, you know what I'm saying, is leading us down a dark road. You know what I mean? And if I got to big up Commander Jenny Hunter for holding down the truth. You know what I'm saying? The ISUBK is thriving like never before, and it's the right time. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate you joining us, General, on the round table of truth.
Hey, I really appreciate being here with you. You know how much I love coming out there to see y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all run such a tight zone, man, and such strong warriors. You can't help but want to be around y'all. You specifically, Cap. You understand? You just exuberate the truth and the brotherhood and all things righteous and a care for the brothers and sisters in Chicago like I ain't never seen. I thank the Most High for you. You know what I'm saying? Little did I know when I drove out there, damn right. When I drove out there and spoke out there, little did I know that the Lord would send a prophet to come to Philly to learn and take that knowledge and enhance and expound on it and set out to do something so great and righteous to the brothers and sisters out there, both Black and Latino, and just to spread like a wildfire. Certainly the Lord have dubbed you and put you in that seat. I call you the Midwest Monster of Mayhem. That's, that's my favorite name for you. But you are Captain Malquad, a priest of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? It was called by the Lord. Certainly your life didn't take the direction it took to this point without the Lord's intervention. You know what I'm saying? So I thank the Lord for you, man. And if the people of Chicago knew what I know, and not just Chicago, but all the surrounding cities, they would be thanking you dearly as well. You know what I'm saying?
I'm right, bro. So I appreciate
I'm right. Appreciate you.
I appreciate that, General. What we at with it? Lamont.
Come on. So for the whole story with the Ryan Henson's unaliving and it's the whole process. So we want to go start at the beginning and get the body cam footage of the young brothers unaliving by the police. Then we'll go to the father, then the grandfather.
Let's get it on. We ready. Let's do it.
First one's a video.
Yep.
If I could, Cap.
Go ahead, Maya.
If I could, Salaki, to everyone watching on YouTube and on Facebook, let's get those likes up. You know what I mean? We got close to 3,000 people watching right now. Let's get those likes up so this can go viral. You know what I'm saying? So they can't deny the algorithm. They can't suppress this truth. So everyone that's watching live right now, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Let's put the round table of truth on the level with all of these other so-called shows and podcasts that do nothing for our people.
Damn right. We ready, Raj? Play it.
Was calculated and premeditated. Cincinnati PD responding to reports of a stolen Kia at an apartment building Thursday morning. 4 suspects then fleeing police. Among them, 18-year-old Ryan Hinton. Body camera shows Hinton fall as he tries to run away. Police say they heard a metal clinking sound they believe was a gun. He's got a gun on your right. He's got a gun. As Hinton emerges from behind a dumpster, authorities say, another officer firing 4 or 5 shots.
The officer says that he saw the suspect point the firearm at him.
Yes. Just 6 seconds passed between when police arrived and gunshots rang out. Officials say they tried administering medical aid. Hinton struck twice and died. Investigators saying this gun was recovered from the scene allegedly found in Hinton's possession. On Friday, a day after that shooting and 2 hours after the Hinton family reviewed the body camera footage, according to the family's lawyer, a driver crashing a car into a Hamilton County deputy directing traffic near a commencement ceremony, killing him. The suspect, authorities say, is Ryan Hinton's father, Rodney Hinton Jr. Hinton's attorney calling the officer's death a horrific tragedy. At his first court appearance today, Hinton walked through a room packed with law enforcement.
Stop it right there. Good night. You understand, Journal? You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What you got? What you got for this one, Journal?
Okay. All right. Let me say this, if I could, Cat.
Please.
I understand how everybody feels about what his dad did because of the loss of his son. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I know that, everybody's feeling like, he did that because of what they did to his son. Okay. And, they halfway in many cases feel not so much that he was right, but that they understand it. Okay. But, I'm a military commander of the truth.
Right.
So
I'm right.
I got to think militarily when it comes to these type of events. Everybody, Black, Latino, and Native Indians, you got to go to your son and you got to tell him, you got to say, listen, now, if you commit a crime out there and you go out there battling Esau, trying to commit crimes to survive and to prosper, then 1, you are weak. You're a very weak man. And 2, you are going to put nothing but grief on me and your mother. So if you make that move, I'm going to cut you off. You got to do that with your kids because you got to give your kids some pressure to not fall weak to local gangs and little groups and they little homies and trying to listen to the internet and go hit a lick or whatever, or steal a car for a few dollars, not realizing that if you steal a car in America and you Black, you put your entire life on the line. You said something that was real heavy earlier. You said if your tail light is out, it could be a life and death situation.
Right.
Like at some point, we got to stop being stupid, like you said. We're gonna have to learn that those methods that we want to use to survive are methods that are killing us. They're putting millions of soldiers in prison. You understand? We're unaliving tens of thousands of brothers every year between the abortion clinic and the murder and incarceration and God knows what else that ruins a young Black man and Black woman's mind, rape and molestation. Like, we got to realize the real problems that we have and not just be selfish about what somebody does to ours. Nobody wants to see this devil murder their kid. You understand?
That's right.
Who knows what happened? It ain't far-fetched to believe that that boy didn't have a gun in his hand, but somehow they find a gun on the scene and the body footage be blurry. I ain't surprised if that would happen. But nobody should be surprised. Why would anybody, after all these years, from like you brought out earlier, from the days of slave catchers to now, why would anybody be surprised at the lowest levels that these animals will go that put on this uniform? They pumped up with steroids. They high on drugs. Many of them have, are super duper narcissists, super authoritarians that was oppressed and ass kicked by their father when they was a kid. They got mental problems. Many of them is on all kinds of drugs.
That's right.
And then you put yourself for nothing, for joyride, for a few dollars. You putting yourself in a position to get your life taken, which is so much more precious. What he could have done over the next 40 years, he's 20 years old, over the next 40 years, what he could have done in the Black community would have been astonishing. But that's how small we think of our lives, and that's how quick we put ourselves in a position to lose our lives, a position that they are creating and that is beneficial to them.
That's it.
There's more tanks in the city, more armored vehicles for the police, more guns, more rifles, more bullets, more police, and more cameras, more surveillance. Like this is what they want. And then we go and do the same thing. Now let's switch over and look at his dad. He in horrible grief that his son is killed. And listen, I don't know what that's like. I've never lost a son. But I could imagine it must be like on to death. You understand? To go through that.
Yes,
but
sir.
He also should have been trained a long time ago first of all, that this could happen. He should have been telling his son this could have happened. We should have all been once again, like I said, we're not focused. We ought to focus on the greater good, on the brotherhood of all of us to make sure that all of us are in the right spirit, especially now.
That's right.
So even though he had that grief, look what he did. Like the reason this video is all over the internet, all over the news, and the reason all the cops are in the courtroom, the reason this big pomp and circumstance is because this is great encouragement for white people that hate you. See, look at the nigga. If you give him an inch, he gonna take revenge and kill an elderly retired police officer that was just directing traffic at the end of his career. Look how horrible this is.
Right.
And here's why it's extra selfish. You see all them cops lined up in that courtroom, all those white cops?
Yes, sir.
Lined up in that courtroom. Let me ask you this. After they leave out of that courtroom and they get back in their patrol cars, you think they just gonna have coffee and donuts for the rest of the week and sing Kumbaya and say, how great could we come together?
Right.
I don't fucking think so. Excuse my French.
That's right.
Them low-life motherfuckers is going to get back in their patrol cars waiting for revenge.
Damn right.
They believe in revenge too.
That's right.
They saw him kill one of their own retired, and now they want revenge. So he just placed an innumerable amount of black men in danger. He put in worse danger. He put them in a worse dangerous situation because now all them cops and who knows how many others are seeking revenge on that. But when he could have used his time, and not only that, here's the worst part. He can't do anything for his son, his son's name, for black people, for his legacy, nothing. He gets to go get put in a cage like an animal, and they get to parade around him and say, see, look at the nigga. And who does that help? It don't help us.
Right.
When that tragedy could have been greatly used First of all, hopefully avoided by all of our sons, which is hard to do. But a father, he's got the best ear to his son at an early age. He has the ability to possibly divert his son's, foolishness into something righteous, which is why the ISUPK is here. Now, as the father, damn right, as the father, he could have done a world of good right now. He could have held a flag up where everybody needed to come to and recognize, and then we could have done something bigger in that city. We could have done something that would economically hit them. We could have done something in the courts to do something else with their ability and authority to have anonymity every time they harm one of us. And if we couldn't do anything with them, certainly we could have used his tragedy to wake up a ton more brothers and to create something else for ourselves. Even if it was one daycare, one breakfast club, one, situation that kids could come in and see his son's picture on the wall and know to not go that route based on the things that they're taught. Like we have options, but we don't know we got options. Instead, our options is to be just emotional, which again, I understand you lose a son. I don't know what that's like. But at the same time, unless we recognize that we're at war, spiritual warfare, with this beast, then we ain't going to do the things it takes to relieve ourselves so that his son and the next son does not have to steal cars to make a living.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Give it up, sir. That's right.
And one last thing, I'm going to get up off it real quick, guys.
Go ahead, John.
What we don't realize, just to show you how backwards we are right quick in this hell. Black people and Latino people and Native Indian people are suffering so much and need so much help. And we do not have the mindset to say to ourselves, I need a job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and find a way to help my people that they will hire me on this job.
That's it.
I'm going to go sweep in front of houses. I'm going to do something that makes my people hire me because they need so much any damn way. I'm going to get a van and take elderly people to the grocery store once a week because they all need it any damn way because ain't nobody else doing it for them and their sons is in jail. We got to think of ways to help ourselves and get a job that way. And that's how we do in the ISUPK. We got plenty of jobs. You get up in here and do something, and certainly the Lord will work a way for us to get you the help that you need. You understand? You may not be Puff Daddy,
right?
You understand? But you're gonna be better than most. The more we do it, the greater we'll become. And who knows what is available to us. And on top of it all, we win the Lord on our side. I yield to what?
Damn right. Give it up. Give it up. Listen, General, what you saying so powerful. Going back to what you were saying about the Black Panthers, how the brother was just so hated for starting the breakfast program. You know what I'm saying? You bringing sausage, pancakes, and eggs. You know what I'm saying? Is a threat to the so-called white man. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that you bringing that out is something that we need to recognize, which is so heavy, is that you Black people got to understand. If you want to look for leadership and you want to look for men that's gonna fix you, it's gonna sound real crazy. You know what I'm saying? But you got to go and search for the men in America, the Black men in America that's hated the most.
That's right.
That's what you got to go search for. Right. And then when you search for them, you got to examine, well, why is these brothers hated? Why is the ISUPK labeled as a terrorist group or whatever, you know what I'm saying, group, in that magazine, right? You know what I'm saying? Why is Commander General Yohana so hated? Why is it that Black people don't know about Commander General Yohana? You know what I'm saying? Right. It's because of what General Yohana was just saying. You know what I'm saying? Because a military leader, you know what I'm saying, before he get to a gun, he's fixing your mind and preparing your mind for war. You understand? And it starts from when a young boy is 5 and 6 and 4 years old. The worst thing that could happen to a male is to grow up in the house where he don't have a father to teach him, you know what I'm saying, how to be militant. And being militant means you do what? You're able to control your emotions. That's right. You know what I'm saying? You're able to do the one thing that America wants you. America wants you to be a criminal. That's why they removed the black man from the house. They want you to not. They want you to be emotional. You know what I'm saying? They want you to, you know what I mean? You understand? They want you to go overreact and all that stuff there, but you have to have a father to teach you how to control your emotion. You got to have a father that teach you from day one, not when you older. I'm coming to you, brother. Not when you're a full-grown man, but from day one, you got to have a father teach you when you 5 years old or 4 years old. Son, let me just explain something to you. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Damn right.
Do you understand? We must remember that Jesus Christ was not loved by everybody. Like y'all, they try to paint a picture now, General. Get me right on this. Like the whole world loves Christ.
Right.
When you go in that Bible, Jesus Christ was hated. Why in the hell you think they put him to death? Nobody puts a man to death. General, you bring this out all the time that everybody loves. Right. Jesus Christ, you know what I'm saying, was a revolutionary black man that was coming up against the Roman Empire during that particular time. You know what I'm saying? Which is crucial because that's what we're going through right now.
Damn right.
So
black man to step up, strap on your boots, and get a part of this warfare that's going on in HBK. Come on, Captain.
Just to piggyback on what you're saying,
please.
Like, listen, for them, they wanted to demonize and unalive all these men, especially what we do, for wanting to feed our younger generations. And we're not only just feeding out. We don't want to just feed our younger generations food. We want to feed them the truth because that's what's going to gird them up to be able to live the life when we're gone.
That's it.
You see what I'm saying? And they want to snub that away from us.
That's it.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, where can you absolutely turn? But you can't live in two Americas. You're gonna have to pick one.
That's right.
One America is where you live. The other America is where they live.
That's it.
But one thing I love about Commander General Hunter as well is he always shows the photocopy of ancient Egypt and America.
That's it.
And everything that we suffered in America now, we have suffered in past times.
That's it.
And why won't we just study that?
That's it.
Like, why won't we, if we're gonna really look at Kemet, we gonna really look like big up to Captain Zaryak, the Kemet killer.
Yeah,
we're gonna look at Kemet and really examine what is going on in that land. We gotta first look at the demographics that was in Kemet. You got to look at the poor. You got to look at the rich. You got to look at how they kept them poor. You got to look at how they stayed rich. It's the same dichotomy to today.
That's it.
It doesn't make sense for us to want to continue to crave America like this.
Damn right.
And like you said, we have to absolutely be unwell.
Damn right. My partner's out. Come on, Warrior.
You know what I'm saying? I just, just piggybacking off what you and the general was just saying. You know what I'm saying? Especially on the breakfast program. You know what I'm saying? And that just further makes you understand that the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of.
Damn right.
Because it's okay for a black man to fight another black man every day in America. That's totally okay. It's okay for a black man to murder another black man in America. That's definitely okay.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You getting rid of two stones with one brick. You getting rid of this brother and another brother going to jail for the rest of his life. It's okay for a black man to sell drugs to another black man every day in America. That's cool. But when it comes to a black man loving another black man, that is a threat to America. You know what I'm saying?
We played the video of the father saying he could get the officer.
The grandfather.
General, did you see this video, sir?
No, I didn't.
We got a video of the grandfather saying he forgive the officers that murdered his grandson.
Cool. We also have the video of the police eyeing down him.
Play the one with the police eyeing the officers playing them. Play that one first, then play the other one after that.
Courtroom, sir.
Yeah, please.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy because Commander Young, what he said was insane. This brother here did this, and now he's absolutely off the board. He's not even a piece to be used anymore by the law.
That's it. You understand? Which is why you gotta have like the journal was saying, you gotta have a brother. Brotherhood is a weapon. You gotta have a brother, you know what I'm saying, to be able to tell a black man how to deal with this type of situation when it go down. Because really, it wasn't just one life just was lost. Now 2 lives is lost.
Kind of.
You know what I'm saying?
Kind. Good night.
You make cops think that they justified in the things that they do to us.
John, what kind, General?
Thank you. No, thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you.
Man, they tried to use General. You see that video, General?
Yeah, I saw the first one. You know, that,
Go ahead,
I call it the big bad wolf video. Because that's what they want. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, look at the big bad wolf. Look at the big bad wolf.
Yes, sir.
He didn't even use a gun. He rammed them with the car. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like,
sir.
But they need him to be the menace of society.
Right.
What we better do.
Yes,
See? Now y'all know why we slam them on the ground. This is why we do them all the time.
Yes,
this
sir.
is why we so aggressive. Because if you're not, they will run your grandfather over with a car. They're animals.
General,
go ahead, Doc.
General, if I could, get me right on this, General. This is the same propaganda before Hitler exterminated the fake Jews, the Jewish people. This is the same propaganda the Germans used, you know what I'm saying, to
it absolutely is.
Hype up the German people, you know what I'm saying, to basically,
encourage them to demonize this group of people and go ahead and kill them.
So, you know,
we should, as military soldiers for the righteousness of Christ, we should see that the minute it presents itself in our mind, we should be saying to ourselves, wait a minute, what's being presented here? Why is this happening?
That's right.
They love a story like this. And as they get closer to making moves against us, you'll see and hear more stories. They'll dig up all the stories like this.
You
know, it'll be all over the news, and you'll be thinking, what's going on? Are black men bugging out? When the reality is less black men are on the streets today than have been probably since the 60s. Black men are disappearing from the streets.
That's it.
They staying in the house. They ain't going to no stores. They ain't hanging out in no clubs, no bars. They disappearing from the streets to where black women are saying, where are all the black men? What's happening to them? Now they all retreating to the porno and the video games. They said the hell with it. They trying to escape society when in fact they need to change society. Black Latinos and Native Indians. You know what I'm saying? We can't just let society roll over us. We got to force society to deal with us.
Damn right.
Going to do is wither away in the house. That's why what we doing on the street and everywhere else, food programs, all of that is absolutely vital and called for by the hand of the Lord.
That's right, General. That's right.
Come on, my y'all.
Hey, one heavy thing, sir, if I could, with that video, as I'm watching him, you know what I'm saying? That brother, he got his chin up, he got his head up, and he's staring down that murder brigade in front of him. But as he's walking, I'm looking at him like Proud Boy, KKK, skinhead. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
We want to ignore the fact that the FBI, the government itself, the news media has brought out that every police department around the country is full of nothing but white supremacists that have put on that badge and are waiting for their opportunity to engage in a civil war with us. You know what I mean? They get pictures of them doing the 3 fingers down on their belt buckle. That means KKK.
Right.
They got the bald heads. You don't think none of a bald head officer, but that's a skinhead.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They get their tweets and their Instagrams and they're saying all this racist stuff and they're in support of the Blood Tribe and all these new era groups that have come out.
That's right.
That's what that brother, the ones that are standing right there in the front line trying to look so intimidating, those are the white supremacists. Those are the hate groups. They made sure that they stood front line for him. Sir.
That's it. Go ahead. Come on, Cap.
Give it up for my guy.
Damn right.
Because what you're bringing out is so heavy. They're gonna go and try their best to console this officer's wife who got unalive by this incident. You know what they're gonna say? We're going back on the streets. We're gonna go right back on the beat. and we're gonna make sure that we make more of them suffer. We're gonna make sure that they know that we're not playing about our Conrad. See, they have a brotherhood. Imagine, and I pray this never has to. We never get to experience none of this. But imagine somebody taking me from you. How would that make you want to react?
Yeah, right.
They don't have the restraint and the discipline given by the Spirit of the Lord to not make them go out there and unalive any of us.
Right.
And then so not only are they the officers or the FBI, they are teachers.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? These are the people who teaching your children. These are the people who are at the doctor's office. Every aspect of this entire country is absolutely racist. It's inherently racist, right? So, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So what they want is blood.
That's it.
Because they lost a brother.
That's it.
Well,
That's
all
it.
we asking for is life. We want brothers to come in here and be a preventative measure against what they have planned for us, because they coming up out of the mountains. You see what they did at the what they was coming in on the Hebrew Academy. They ready to come out.
They shout out the Hebrew Academy, Captain McCall. Yeah, I mean that video went viral. I'm coming to you, boy, but what you bringing out so heavy. Like, we got to understand something about white people, man. You black people and the Latinos, you got to understand this. You worse than an animal. A lot of people say they look at black people like an animal. To them, you worse than an animal. What I mean by that is, when you lose a son, white people look at it like you ain't got no pain.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They remember, you know what I'm saying? They looked at the slaves and said, well, they don't feel pain like we feel pain. You see what I'm saying? Like, the white man got more sympathy for a damn golden retriever than he do for you. You know what I'm saying? Let a puppy get killed. White people lose their minds.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They ready to call, you know what I'm saying, animal control or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Let a dog get killed, man. You gonna feel the brunt of white people, you know, when a dog get killed. But when a black or Latino man get killed, nobody cares. No, to you worse than a damn golden retriever and a pit bull, you know what I'm saying, or a dog. Your life means nothing. And who want to live in a society where your life don't mean nothing? Who want to live in a society where when your son leaves the door, you got to worry about if he get in a traffic stop, he may lose his life because his tail light is out. And he run and the police say, well, he had a gun. You know what I'm saying? And the family come and say, well, he was a good kid. He white man always talk about he got a gun. You can almost guarantee if the cops chase a Latino child and say they got a gun, you can almost guarantee more times than not they didn't have no gun.
Right.
We grew up in the era where it was nothing for detectives and white officers to slap some drugs on you, you know what I'm saying, to take you to jail. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. He's been the devil. He always gonna be the devil, you know what I'm saying? And we need to separate, you know what I'm saying, and take our love away from these people, which is what Commander General Hannah been teaching for damn near 50 years.
Damn right, sir.
You understand, Warden? Please.
There you go.
Yeah. Con, let's get it on. General, you there, sir?
I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got a brother from Big O Live. He got a question or a comment.
All right.
Go ahead, brother.
I just had to ask a question because I understand what you guys are talking about. What this brother did, his actions, I do not agree with. But I don't think this is a time for us to down this brother. Because I have watched you guys, and you guys say you guys are you're prepping for war because there is a war coming. So he took a shot. So what would you tell the other brothers to not take that shot? So that's like my first part of my question. The second part of my question is, man, can y'all go about a different way? Because this brother, like he was ready for war.
Say again.
Can you hear the brother?
I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I hear everything he's saying. I was gonna let him ask the second part of his question and then answer both of them.
Colonel, what kind, sir?
Ask the question again.
Ask the second part of your question.
All right. The second part of my question, it is coming from a little emotional side. Because can you guys not put this brother down for doing what he had to do? If you guys are ready for war, this man was ready for war too. I get he was a crash out. But the first part of my question, I really would like you guys to answer. What would you tell brothers to not make the same mistakes he made?
Right. First of all, let me say this: we've been at war. It ain't a war coming. We already in it. And that's why we doing what we do and have been doing what we're doing. Number one. Number two, this brother did not take a shot. This brother took out his 45 and shot himself in the leg. That's what he did. Okay. He while we was in the bush, down in the woods, being quiet, waiting on the enemy, this brother popped off his gun and gave away our position. That's what took place on a spiritual level. Furthermore, we care for this brother more than you, because we would not have what the value of this brother not going to prison is tremendous. Tremendous. You think that running over one retired cop was a shot against the enemy, and it cost us the life of a brother in a cage for them to parade around like a monkey? You think that was a worthy price that we paid? Of course not. And second of all, we must always, in the UPK, understand this about the UPK. We're not personal with what we stand for.
That's right.
Understand how you feel, and like you said, is emotional, because you understand what he went through. You understand other cats that this went through. Like I said before, I haven't lost a son to police violence. So I don't know what it's like. I haven't lost a son, period, to any of those type of things. So I don't know what that's like. I could imagine the pain and suffering that he's gone through. But to be a soldier for Christ, you can't be emotional. You're going to have to carry out your orders like a straight soldier. You're going to have to bury your emotions very, very far deep, and you're going to have to carry out the orders necessary to help your people. You got to get off of you and get on all these people walking around on the street. These strangers riding on the bus you see, these strangers on the train, these cats blasting their music with smoking a blunt in the car, these cats hanging out in the park. All of those people are your responsibility.
That's right.
You ain't got time to be thinking about your own feelings and emotions when it comes to this battle. You got to wake these people up. Making a move like this does not wake these people up. You hurt yourself and these people. You understand? So we're not down in this, brother, but every brother has to learn from this. Like, if we stay quiet, that means fathers don't go home and talk to their sons. Fathers don't do that. Fathers start to fix their mind to doing the same thing he did if something happens to their son. Do you think that that's going to help us go forward? No, it's just going to get a bunch of brothers incarcerated and killed. That's what it's going to do. You understand? We have to let every young brother know about the tragedy of, like, to this day. Okay, I'm just telling you me personally. To this day, I got to call Esau, the white man, one of the greatest propagandists in the world, because after so much incarceration and so much death, you would think that we as black people would know that using crime as a tool to survive in this country, selling drugs as a tool to survive in this country, is an absolute brutal mistake. And the only way that we would believe to still do it is if this animal that's over us has given us so much propaganda, so much emotional feeling about being a gangster and selling dope and handling your business and not being a punk. He done gave us so much emotional injection of that bullshit that now we almost cannot stop doing the shit, even though we know it end up in death for damn near all of us.
That's it.
Death meaning incarcerated, in a wheelchair for life, blind, and of course, plenty of us dead. Broken families, no fathers, all of that. Like what is being pushed here is so wrong. Like, if anything, he should be angry at himself and his son for doing what he did and keep perpetuating this evil thing that goes on with us. Again, I totally get it, how a father would feel if his son was killed by these devils. I know I would feel like that. I'd have to call the brothers, man. They'd have to take my guns out my house because they're gonna know what the hell I'm gonna do. And they're gonna sit here, just looking at me for hours, if not days, to make sure I don't run out that door and do something stupid.
That's it.
But they're gonna have to do that. And if in the brotherhood they do it, it's because, brother, we got to think beyond us.
Damn right.
So ain't nobody down that brother. We use that brother's tragedy to help every brother coming along.
Damn
You understand?
right,
he should be, and listen, when he sit up in that cage for 10 years, after 10 years of them abusing, if he's still alive, because he's going in a cage under their hand. So if you saw what happened in New York City, big shout out to Azania, how they dragged that brother into the medical room, choked him to death and beat him to death in the medical room. And to this day, brothers are still trying to figure out what did he do that was so egregious that made them brutalize him in such a way and break his damn neck. Like once again, you giving them just another reason to take revenge on us. When we need a reason to take revenge on them. That's what we need to be doing. You understand? Like what we need to do? We need to give me a city. Take all the brothers in Chicago and stop them from committing crimes and put on that jacket and line up with them boots and become soldiers. That's how you take revenge on this devil. You understand?
That's right.
You understand? Then you take them soldiers, brother, and you start having community police forces or private security over black neighborhoods in Chicago to further stop the crime, to further stop the drugs. That's how you take revenge on that bastard. You understand? Right. You shut his world down. Then you stop buying in the Korean store and you open your own Chinese restaurant. Nigga, Chinese food. That's how you take revenge on this bastard. That's how you go to war with him, man. Then you open up your own supermarkets and your own schools, and you set up all of that up under his nose. And when he come acting like, why y'all being such separate? This is racist. This is whatever. Then you just pull the latch back on that sewing machine and let him know that this is our survival. This is what we do to survive. That's how you take revenge on this devil. Not making him feel like he got the proper enemy. Black people could never be an enemy to white people. We just too destroyed. We are too destroyed to be any kind of enemy, to even be organized or come together. We need men that will desperately bring us together at any cost as a people to work together. And brother, we'll see the results. We see it in the ISUBK. We see the results right now.
That's right.
We watching the results right now. We have kept more young soldiers off the streets, out of danger. You understand? To where I had to have Muhammad teach classes on telling young brothers not to act a certain way when the cops roll up on them. Young brothers would come to camp, cops would roll up the camp, and they would start moving away from the camp just out of instinct and fear when them damn cops come up. And they had to learn over time, no, you ain't doing nothing wrong. You're not breaking no laws. This is a legal event. Stand where you are, follow orders. Look at the commanding officer, see what it is. And as brothers start to grow and learn that, guess what? That fear and these things are gone. They could do so much more. Brother, what I could have done with the fearlessness of his son, for his son to be that fearless to go take somebody's car, put the cops on a high-speed chase, jump out the car armed if it's true, you understand, and start to move. You know how important them 4 soldiers are. You know what them 4 soldiers could have did as a team. What I could have done with them? I could have took a fucking city with them.
Damn right.
You understand? But instead, they in the grave and they in a jailhouse. And they're gonna get worse, and they're gonna get worse time because of what the brother's father did. They're gonna get worse time. They'll find some federal attachment or some bullshit to add to them and try to serve all of them up 20 years.
That's right.
That don't help nobody out, and it got to be brought out. The brother, I know the family is upset, and the family that's why nobody don't like the Israelites. They don't like to hear the truth. They don't like to be faced with what's really going on. You understand? And if you care about them, You spoke, if it was my son, I would say this motherfucker. How could he go out there stealing a fucking car? We could have came together and got him the money for a goddamn car.
Right.
I would have been so mad at him for getting himself killed over a bullshit ass Hyundai. I would have been furious with him.
That's right.
About it. And then I would have been thinking of ways to not let the next son fall into that fucking trap.
Damn
Brother,
right.
that's the hard truth. You know what I mean? You go to church now, they're going to cry for you. Gonna put their arm around you and cry for you and tell you it's a tragedy and all of that. And then after the service is over, they're going to go back home and say, that's just another nigga loving to kill and commit crime. You better find Jesus. And they're going to not give a damn about you. But you know what? UPK, we ain't built like that. We lost that soldier. We lost 2 good soldiers. No, scratch that. 5 good soldiers over a Hyundai. 5 soldiers over a bullshit ass Hyundai. That's what we lost.
That's it.
And you tell me don't say nothing about it? Nah, brother, you don't understand.
Damn
you don't
right.
understand because there's 5 more brothers getting ready to steal another Hyundai. I pray they hear this show and recognize that that's not real masculinity and strength. Masculinity and strength come from us. I yield to what?
Damn right. Give it up. Give it up. If I could just piggyback, I know you want to say something too, Lamar. And just another thing, you know what I'm saying? I said the brother got the name Israel, attached to his name or whatever. If you got that name attached to you, then you got to understand that vengeance belongs to the Most High, number one. You know what I'm saying? And by vengeance belonging to the Most High and Christ, you know what I'm saying, being our commander in chief, you understand, whatever the case may be, Christ is going to bring warfare to this white man like something you could not believe. But Christ also commanded Black and Hispanic men, you know what I'm saying, to be what? A good soldier of Christ. And being a good soldier of Christ means do what? You got to go to war with yourself before you can go to war with this white man. Black men got to learn how to do what? Not be drug addicts. You understand? Not be murderers, not be rapists, not be homosexuals. That's our war right there. You know what I'm saying? Right. Then we are listen, Christ gonna deal with the white man like something you could not believe. The white man already know it. That's why he got the damn space military right now, because he know a nigga named Jesus Christ is coming back to deal with him for all the crimes that he done to Black people. And a real military leader, once again, fixes the mind of and the souls of the people first. Man, listen, we too destroyed to be go talking about going to a physical war fed with the so-called white man. Are you insane? You know what I'm saying? We got a ton of broken families, our women, you know what I'm saying, our enemies to us. So we got a lot to fix before we can even think about a physical warfare. And the Lord know that, which is why Commander General Hunter is telling you what he's telling you, why we got to fix the mind of these soldiers first so they can become soldiers for their people. Right now, they ain't becoming soldiers for their people. They out there calling them YNs. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right now, they telling them to be YNs so they can lose their life at an early age, so they can go to jail at an early age. You got to understand how to fight a war. The warfare start in the mind first. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you know what I'm saying? A brother going out and killing the cop, like the general say, that dude's nothing. They gonna beat the hell out that cat every day in that jail. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'll be surprised if he don't die of starvation. They may poison his food or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? You can't go out of the order in which the Bible says to go. The Lord know you want revenge, but you don't get revenge right at this point in time. You understand? First and foremost, you got to fix yourself first. And we gonna get our revenge when we start doing what the hell the Most High say to do. Like you can't jump over what the Lord say. The Lord say keep these laws, statutes, commandments. You want to go to war with the white man, but you don't want to do what the Lord say to do. It don't work like that. Right. You got to do what the Lord say first, and then we the only people on earth that have a living God. That's right. The white man ain't got no God. The Arabs ain't got no God. These other nations, they ain't got no God. The one people who got a God is Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. The 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel. You the only people that got a God. And by you having a God, God damn it, you got to do what the fuck he say to do, man. That's right. He said, don't be a homosexual. You got to do it. He said, for our women
not to be whores. Our women cannot be whores. He say don't eat certain foods. You can't eat that food. Right. He do what the fuck a good father say to do. So don't worry about no fucking war when you ain't ready to do what the fuck your daddy say to do, man. That's just so important to have a father in the goddamn home in the first place.
I'm right, sir.
Hey, Cap, can I add one little thing to that?
Please, sir.
That you said this brother has the name Israel up there. I hope he's not part of one of these fake Christian groups because they run by homosexuals. And these groups are teaching you brothers totally wrong. Even though they Israel, and wearing fringes, but they are teaching you a Christian gay form of the truth.
And it is, sir, the brother say he a Muslim.
Okay, then okay, beautiful. Good for him. Because fake Israelites is worse than even being a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? But we could get into that on another story. But here's what the Lord said. The Lord said this, I agree with thy adversary while thou art in the way. You understand? Like, like I see this all the time, all over the social media. Cats beefing with the cops and ending up getting shot, choked out, paralyzed, all kinds of stuff going. You got to fight them Edomites in court because they got power over you right now. Right. You got to fight them. There's other ways to battle them. You just have to go through the steps. I know it's aggravating. I grew up in the Bronx, and them Edomites, brother, they terrorized us in them projects every damn day to where, if not for the Lord, I know of at least one incident where my brother had to save my life because I was definitely going to do something I shouldn't have done. Which would have hurt everything I've done from a teenager to now. Like from that teenage level, I was about to get taken off the chessboard, and I realized now how grateful I was that he stopped me, that he was able to be strong enough to not let me go down that road, because as a result, I did so much more for later on. You dealing with this beast, man, try to deal with him with all your shit right. Try not to cut the corners. Like, he got all these fees because he waiting for you to not pay for that registration. He waiting for you to not pay for that inspection. He waiting for you to not go get that light repaired because he know he working you to death. So then here comes his opportunity to have power over you in that immediate time and to do harm to you. And you should know you are the target. And here's the worst part that we don't know as Black men and Latino men, that you are extremely valuable.
Damn right.
You feel what I'm saying? If the brother can still hear me, you are extremely valuable. You can't just allow yourself, for your ego's sake, to go get incarcerated, go get killed. You understand? And if you already been incarcerated, you should know how much time you lost of things that you could have done. And you know what a big problem with a lot of us is? We don't believe we could fix us because everybody else failed. So a lot of times in our heart of hearts, we like to talk about this stuff, but we don't really think we could change anything. You got me?
Wakan. We gave you something.
Wakan. Okay. But we don't think we could change anything. Let me tell you something, man. I wake up every day knowing that one day we're going to change all of this because we're going to come together. And I'm going to grind out to my last breath to make sure it happens. And you should know how valuable you are, that we can't afford you spending time in a cage. We can't afford none of that. We need you out here fixing whatever the damn problem is. I yield to water.
Right. Give it up. Real fast, everybody. We're gonna take a 5-minute break, and Jenna, we're gonna take a 5-minute break, play a song or two, and then come right back and jump right into the World War III story that you want to get into, Jenna, if we could.
Yeah, we could do that. We'll make it short because it's getting late, right? A little short breakdown on it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So everybody hang tight. Don't go nowhere. Grab your popcorn. Use the bathroom. Whatever you got to do. We'll be right back in 2 to 3 minutes right here on the Round Table of Truth. Back roll.
You'll never see another nigga like this. Used to have that white bitch popping on the night shift. Now I'm going westward, sharper than an ice pick. On you rappers' necks, and it's feeling like some vice grips. Yeah, that's light shit. Send my bro a kite quick. Ties of war, we ain't forget about you. Keep your light lit. Rappers can't see. Most of them scared to witness. Go and close your eyes. That's one right here for the trenches. Bad bitches, natural hair or extensions. Hood niggas that'll probably grip like some dentures. Runners on them fences. 23 and 1 out. Praying that that commissary hit before it run out. Bitches on the gram, dog filter with their tongue out. Couldn't stay home because they found the dugout. Closed casket. Burner in the low jacket, my co-captain. Riding on these whole rappers, my hoes fabulous. Now I don't mean that derogatory, but I'm a player and there's no my women riding for me. I avoided Maury, I got 2 jits. If I can't make it through for them, then I'm useless. Sit down that roof, Chris, with a couple of bosses. After the war, just to count our losses. It's not many. You see a smile on my face, but I'm not friendly. Gun on my waist, sipping white Henny. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart grip my bow tie. Waiting on the swerve in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart grip my bow tie. Living in the swerve in my whole life. My whole life. It's so melodic. When I be dropping this ebonics, this ghetto phonics, they got me on the level supersonic. My bomb atomic, and you know where you can find me. Somewhere probably folding this paper origami. My name is pure as the Sani, my wave is like a tsunami. I went from 0 to 100, feeling like Ricky Bobby. I made a deal with the Reaper. Got a couple wives, they some keepers. Talk a lot of shit, but you can't walk a mile in my sneakers. Bitches go to Miami, come home and change features. Now she got a BBL, her ass fatter. Trying to show up all them niggas that laughed at her. Now when they see her, they only wanna fuck her. They just wanna touch her. They don't wanna cuff her. They just wanna come and kick it with her like a punter. Turned her to a runner, now it's all aboard the train. Fenty on the face, but it's not concealing the pain. It's a shame. That's why I'm in the hood like some rap snacks. I know niggas kill you and your mama for a scat pack. Dark tint, matte black, they do it for half that. Hey, you like 90s, we see in a fucking trash bag. I'm from Philly, we don't do bank accounts, just cash app. I spit a verse and I just watch the time slow. It's that guy flow, it's that shit that rappers die for. It's that uncut Tahoe Wall straight from Pablo Escobar. I be at the bar like Moscato. They think it's effort, but no, this that block work. Make the countermeasures, take pleasures, making an op hurt. Minus in the sky, cause every verse is a concert. My mind work at speed y'all can't fathom. Listen to the words of a champion. It can't. The streets need another anthem. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart grip my bow tie. Waiting on the swerve in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know life. Gotta got my heart grip my bow tie. Living in the swerve in my whole life. My whole life.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. We back on the set. Give it up. Yeah. And go about to get into it. You know what I mean? The story about World War III. I know Pakistan and India over there getting it on. You there, General?
Yeah, I'm here.
You understand? Pakistan and India over there getting it on, General. You know what I mean?
Yes,
sir. I want to know, you know what I mean, what time it is with this World War III, General, if we could.
I think they're pushing the pieces a lot closer. Now it could die down, it could get worse, but I tell you what it's all about.
Come on,
you know what I mean? Like that, we don't know if India got them people killed or Pakistan got them killed. Either way, somebody wanted the two sides to go to war. And one of the main reasons they want them to go to war is because China has poured billions of dollars into Pakistan. What China's trying to do is build like what they call a silk highway straight all the way through the country of Pakistan. They done built ports, nuclear plants, high-speed trains. Like they done modernized Pakistan with billions, but it also put Pakistan in a precarious situation because in a war, Pakistan may not be able to protect all that infrastructure, which means China got to bring troops down in there. You understand? The U.S. wants to cut it off because, of course, that means China gets richer and richer, and it hurts the U.S. and their economy.
Right.
And the goal is, here's the goal. The goal is to get into Iran. It's hard to show you without a geographical map, but Pakistan shares a border with China and Iran.
We're gonna have the brother, if I could, we're gonna have the brother pull the map up if we could.
Yeah, let's pull the map up. Because those borders are the back door to Iran. Like in that conflict, they want to get in there and get to Iran. The whole goal right now is to get Iran. And the reason for that goal is because Iran is on the cusp of nuclear weapons if they don't already have it. So they need to get India and Pakistan at battle so they can shut down China, so they can use that corridor to get up into Iran and try and shut Iran down. And the Israelis have already fired on Iran. Iran already blew up one of their airports. So they already in the middle of a skirmish, about to go full tilt. But now here's the thing. If they get into that war deep and they move on the southern part of Iran is gonna move on Saudi Arabia. And it'll be total biblical prophecy. Give me a second, I'd like to read it. It'll be total biblical prophecy.
Damn right.
Oh yeah, that's a good map right there. Can you make it bigger on the screen?
So like I said, that's the map of the Silk Road. So you know our enemies don't do anything new. So back in the days, China had what was called the Silk Road, and that was how they established a trade route to the west, to like Western Europe and the Mediterranean. So this is the exact same trade route that they used about 1,000, almost 2,000 years ago, and they're back on that path right now.
But now here's the difference, right? Can you make this map bigger? Wait a minute, no, never mind. I can make it bigger. Okay. Here's the thing. If you look at that area called Dun Hong, and you go straight down from Dun Hong, straight down into that sea below it, which is really the Indian Sea, but I believe they call it something else. Might be South China or something like that. That road is one route that they want to go into that area and control all of that area on the lower half of India. The other road from Peshawar, I think it's called, that is just like you said, the old ancient route that they used to use to get down into the Indian Sea. Right, there you go. That's the old ancient route. They don't want to go around India this time. They want to come straight down between India and China and cut into that road right there, which is really Pakistan, which they really the same people.
Right.
And so all those billions is piled up in that area right there between them two. And they want to get all of that area. The U.S. wants to see that area shut down. Because again, if you go on the other side of India, that's Iran and all the other areas over there. And this is what they want to get into and destroy through Peshawar as well. They want to come in the back door and attack Iran. But the problem is you see Arabia right next to it, right?
Right.
Once they attack Iran, they got to stop Iran from attacking Arabia. And if they attack Arabia, if you look on that same line coming from Gaza through Arabia, you see that little tiny area? That's not all Arabia anymore either. That whole lower part that you're looking at, that's Yemen, who are allies with Iran. So if you look down towards the bottom of the part that says Arabia, there's two tight little, real tight squeeze, right? That's the Straits of Hormuz. All them oil tankers got to come out of there. All that trade got to come out of there. Most of what Israel gets comes through there. If that war spreads, they're gonna cut off them straits. They cut off them straits and invade Arabia. If Iran invades Arabia, that's the end of oil around the world till that war is over. They're gonna shut down everything dealing with oil. Gas prices gonna go through the roof. Machinery, everything gonna start shutting down. Everybody's economy gonna get crazy. And if China and Russia get the Brexit off before they do it, that means they're gonna have their own economy, which means the dollar is not gonna have nothing to stand on because the oil gonna be cut off, or at least close to cut off. And then you in the full World War III. Then everybody got to get in it to stop what's gonna happen. That's what you're gonna have after that. So you got Pakistan on the other side of India, right there, getting ready to get into it with them, and you got Iran on the opposite side, ready to get into it, and Saudi and Yemen below them, and Saudi Arabia above it. So this means a lot if it goes into Iran. It means a whole lot. It's just a little update, little bump, but once again, the Lord's showing us He's bringing more of them into this battle. Also, too, something that was shocking, it was a little shocking, was that Turkey went and sent arms and troops down into Pakistan.
I seen that.
Which is, now that's a NATO country.
Right.
Means they going against NATO and against the West and arming this country all the way down here, which all of this is problems. All of this is problems because they didn't expect it from Turkey. Let me read just one scripture and I'll get ready to get up off of it, all right?
No, you good, Jenna. Go ahead.
Slicer, you want me to pull the scripture for you?
Jenna still there?
Yeah.
So we can hear you now.
We can hear you, Jenna.
Oh, okay, Salaki.
The brother asked, would you like him to grab the scripture, General?
Yes, please.
Slicer, what scripture
I'm
do you
sorry,
want?
Isaiah 21:2, which show you we're getting closer and closer to this war, this whole war. And let me tell you why it's so spiritual and beautiful. It's spiritual and beautiful because the more they start to prepare to move against us, the more every time they ship brothers and sisters that are the Lord's chosen people up out of this country, they bring the whole world closer to the Third World War. Like this is happening as a direct result of what's being done to us. It seems hard to believe, but the Lord loved these 12 tribes.
Damn right, so.
And He's coming to get them. Go ahead,
Come. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 21, and verse 2. A grievous vision is declared unto me. The treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously.
That's right.
And the spoiler spoileth.
Right. Isaiah began to see this vision of what it was that they was going to do and how they were going to do it, and how bad it was going to be. And this is how he took it. Of course, we don't take it like this now because we've been living comfortably in America. But this is how it's being taken around the world. Go ahead.
Go up, O Elam. Besiege, O Media.
Right. Elam is the East Indians. Both Pakistan and India, they the same people. They just separated by religion. So the Lord is saying for them, the Indian side, Elam, to go up to Media. And that Media is part of the family of the Persians and the Medes. The Persians and the Medes are the Iranians. Media is the southern part of Iran. And the Lord is telling Elam, India, to go into Iran. So we're going to look forward to seeing that coming up down the road. Go ahead.
All the sighing thereof have I made to cease.
Go ahead.
Verse 3. Therefore are my loins filled with pain.
Right. So he's saying he made the signs to be at ease, the sign to be at ease, meaning he taking off the suffering vibe on India. He's making India. You see how they got all angry with Pakistan? Like they changed that old Bollywood shit. They ain't gonna be making them movies in a minute. all that dancing shit and all that they doing, they've been to flip all that. He done took the sign away, and now they getting ready to get good and grisly for some war. Go ahead.
Pangs have taken hold upon me, as the pangs of a woman that travaileth.
Right. When Isaiah saw this, it was like, whoa. I can't believe this is going down like this. This is going to be horrible. Go ahead.
I was bowed down at the hearing of it. I was dismayed at the seeing of it. My heart pained, fearfulness, affrighteth me. The night of my pleasure hath he turned into fear unto me.
Go ahead.
Prepare the table which in the watchtower. Eat, drink, arise, ye princes, and anoint the shield. Verse 6. For thus have,
when he said ye princes, anoint the shield, that's talking about Saudi Arabia. Like y'all get ready too. They're gonna invade Iran, and Saudi Arabia gonna quickly come behind it. Go ahead.
For thus have the Lord said unto me, go, set a watchman, let him declare what he seeth.
You're right. Let that watchman declare what he sees. Let him tell you how this is gonna go down. And that watchman is us. We those prophets, man. Is letting everybody know exactly how this is gonna go down. You know what I mean?
So
once again, it's hard. The scripture said we walk not by sight. It's sometimes hard to ignore what's in front of you and to focus on the prophecies of the Most High. But that's what we got to focus on. That's where we get ourselves out of this condition, obeying the Most High and walking the walk He asked us to walk. And we getting up out of here. Go ahead. You had a question for me?
So there's this the boss. So I had a question about verse 3.
Go ahead.
It said, pangs have taken hold upon me as the pangs of a woman that travaileth. Is this him seeing the conflict that's happening, but it ain't yet happened yet, but he can see it building up, and then it's just he ready for it to happen. Is that what it's saying?
Yeah, like he's seeing the Lord is showing him the vision of it. And as the Lord's showing him the vision of it, you ever been in a situation where you get butterflies in the stomach? Okay, well, he in that situation where it's so frightening to him what he's seeing that he getting butterflies in the stomach. And he said, as a woman in travail, because he knows that these are the signs that bring us to Christ's kingdom. Like these are the signs of travail and that bring us to Christ's kingdom. So these pains to him is like he's pregnant, like almost like I'm pregnant, you're about to have this baby. And if you could imagine the same thing, like you watching the vision, having that fear in your stomach, and your wife sitting next to you having the same pain in the stomach, but hers is because she about to have that baby. That's what he knows is happening. Camera.
Verse 7. And he saw a chariot with a couple of horsemen, a chariot of asses, and a chariot of camels, and he hearkened diligently with much heed.
Go ahead.
Verse 8.
Nice and fast.
And he cried, a lion, my Lord.
And he cried a lion because that was the symbol of the Saudi Arabians. Remember, they got the lion with the wings on the back. That's their symbol. And that's why he said when he saw these soldiers coming, it was just a few of them. And they was on asses, meaning they weren't the super baddest of soldiers. But they did come. And as a watchman, he said, my Lord, I see a lion on lions. Go ahead.
I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and I am set in my ward whole nights. And behold.
So in other words, that's a lesson for us to be vigilant, watching what's going on in the earth, watching these heathens and watching what they're doing as we war day and night to bring our people together, to wake our people up and wake them up. We also examining these heathens. Go ahead,
Verse 9, and behold, here cometh a chariot of men with a couple of horsemen. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the graven image of her gods he have broken unto the ground.
Right. So in other words, as you begin to see this unfold, this starting with this invasion, just know that it's a very strong sign of the complete fall of this empire, and that all their gods gonna fall. You know what I mean? So as we getting closer, we don't know. They could back down. They could calm it down. Every nation is trying to get them to calm down. I didn't know they hated each other so much. Them Pakistan and India, boy, they hate each other. Something ridiculous. And they've suppressed many of our people. You got many groups of our people that have been living in there for hundreds of years, separated from the rest of the other nations, but living in their country under their language and under same like here in America. You got plenty of them that the Lord is going to rip up out of that place. Go ahead.
Khan. Verse 10, O my threshing, and the corn of my floor, that which I have heard of the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, have I declared unto you.
Right. Oh, my threshing, meaning, you know how you thresh wheat, you cut wheat down. He's saying that's what he's seeing. He's watching this threshing on the corn of his floor, meaning right before his eyes, right in his time. Go ahead.
The burden of Dumah, he called to me out of Seir. Watchman, what of the night? Watchman, what of the night?
Right. Dumah is in Saudi Arabia. Dumah is like right on the edge of Saudi Arabia and the northern side of Yemen. And he's saying, what am I seeing here? What is this? Watchman, tell me what's going on. Go ahead.
The watchman said, the morning cometh, and also the night. If ye will inquire ye, return, come. Verse 13, the burden upon Arabia and the forest, and Arabia shall ye lodge.
Right. Oh, and they're going all the nomads, I forget what they call them, cats that live in that desert, that don't live in no houses and just roam that area. What do they call them again?
The Bedouins.
Bedouins, right. Bedouins, all of them now. And the soldiers coming from the other side, from over in Iran, they're going to all lodge in that area. They're going to start invading that country. That country is coming next in this prophecy. Go ahead.
Oh, you traveling companies of the damned. Verse 14.
Right. That's them. Their soldiers, the Saudi Arabian soldiers, pushing back up against Yemen and pushing back up against India. Go ahead.
The inhabitants of the land of Timah brought water to him that was thirsty. They prevented with their bread him that fled.
Right. In other words, they basically weakened them because they lived so good with their oil. They had water, they got bread, they done lived good. And they weakened them that would have escaped, made them stay when they should have got the hell up out of there. Go ahead.
Verse 15, for they fled from the swords, from the drawn sword, and from
they ain't gonna be built to fight these countries. They done lived too good off of that oil. They ain't built for this yet. They think they built for it, but they not. Go ahead.
And from the grievousness of war. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, within a year, according to the years of an hireling, and all the glory of Kedar shall fail.
Right. The glory of Kedar shall fail, meaning, according to this prophecy, Saudi Arabia gonna fall in this war. That place is gonna fall. So much records of us as a people are gonna come up out their country. So much secrets that they've been hiding for years and years and years are gonna come up out their country. They got the records. It's all up in there. But it's now gonna get cut off, and that country will never be the same. The whole world will never be the same. Right. If this escalates into the way this prophecy is laying it out. It may die down and calm down and get good or whatever for a while. But it is definitely eventually getting ready to escalate into something else. And once they go up in that Saudi Arabia, they'll probably never get out. That's probably pretty much, they're going to be close to the very end. They're going to have to go after that. They'll probably drop a nuclear bomb on Iran, if not before.
Colonel McCon. General, our brother got a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Salaki Adawan, it's actually more of a statement. You know, we battle the Muslims on bingo. And,
right.
You know, they actually try to use the scriptures to put Muhammad in the Quran, in the Bible.
Right.
We ain't broke this down to them and let them know it's talking about the destruction of the Arabs, not Muhammad being in the Bible.
Right. It's saying, read that line again.
Khan, verse 16. For thus have the Lord said unto me, within a year, according to the years of an hireling, and all the glory of Kedar shall fail.
Now, once they read that verse, if they know what Kedar is, then you're right. They ain't got a leg to stand on. And whenever you battling Muslims, make sure you do not let them get away with anything to do with Islam when they are not an Arab. You got to hammer them with that shit up. Like they want to argue a scripture or argue a prophecy or argue something that Muhammad said, you understand, on the hadiths and all of that, but don't never want to argue that you are not an Arab. Like you are just like in the garden, you tying fig leaves on yourself.
That's it.
You trying to be somebody that you have nothing to do with. And it's such a shame because we gave that religion a chance. They had a chance in the 60s. They was the big boys on the block in the 60s. And every prominent Muslim left black Muslims and joined Arab Muslims.
Right. Okay.
Every last one of them did and still do to this day. Many of which don't even want to be associated with that organization. You know what I'm saying? Because of course, you can't serve two masters. You can't serve God's people and serve the Arab God. You're going to have conflict. So when people come to a certain point in that, they go to serve the God of that religion. They leave serving black people and then go serve the God of that religion. Which prominent black person left black Muslims, joined the Arab Muslims, and did something great for black people? Name me one.
You'll be waiting for that answer until next year.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Instead, all they do is get paraded around by the Arabs to make that religion for the Arabs look great. You know what I mean? Like, remember the one guy, the Palestinian music guy, went and took Tyson and had Tyson in a Muslim outfit, taking pictures with him. The young brother that just got arrested recently for conspiracy to murder other gang members. They took a big pictures with him and had him dressed up in the outfit. So those Arabs get to use prominent black people or famous black people for their own propaganda to make other young brothers join that religion. And the brother, listen, if there was nothing else to worship, there was nothing else that was truth, then Farrakhan would be the best option. Why? Because at least he is focused on black people, at least for the majority of what he's doing. You understand? But none of it is any good. Why? Because that religion is focused on the Arabs first. That's why he got to make statements about Gaddafi and statements about what's the name of this new guy, Burkina Faso or whatever. I forget how to pronounce his name.
You talking about the cat from the Indianapolis?
No, the guy from Africa that
like T something. Start with a T.
Yeah, it's not even important because, of course, their fight and their war and their situation, one, is part of biblical prophecy, and two, it takes us off of the focus of us. It takes us like those people are going to go to war, and guess what? The whole world is going to hear about it, and they're going to support them. You are going to get crushed under anybody that wants to crush you, and the whole world is going to blame you and not them. And that's the difference, and is why we should never focus on another religion. You cannot serve black people and serve the Arabs. You just can't do both. And every prominent black people, I could imagine how much cash those Arab Muslims have collected from so many well-to-do prominent black people, and how much has Farrakhan lost from that money not going to him. You know what I mean? He's supposed to be sitting up in Chicago out with all the greats. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Mike Tyson, all of them that became Muslim. They supposed to all be in his presence right now. And I'm sure some of them support him in different ways and certain stuff like that, but they go and give the glory to the Arabs. We are not Arabs. We should have no commitment to any Arabs. We should have no commitment whatsoever to the Arab world, no matter who they are. We should not have any brotherhood with them. We should have, because what have they done for us? Their countries have not stepped up and said, we won't want y'all to organize. You think they don't know how to organize? They know how to organize.
Right.
They taking over Caribbean countries right now. They know how to organize. You think they don't know how to organize us? Help us set up our own leadership panels. Help us move into different networks. They know how to do all that. How can they do that and empower us and still make money off us? It ain't gonna work. Like, the more they empower us, the less they get.
Right.
It deletes their ranks. Before you know it, there'll be black Muslim mosques that will be discriminative against the Arabs. You think that they want that? Of course not. They're just giving us a little bit of that religion to attach ourselves to it and to stay in a subservient position with them. We should not fall for it. We got to be completely independent from every nation.
That's right.
So, I didn't mean to do. So that's just to answer the brother's question. That's a good point you brought out about them on Vigo trying to battle you and come up with different ways to attach Muhammad to certain scriptures. And at this point, most of them now have basically conceded that they have to accept the Bible. But I remember the days when they didn't accept the Bible. I remember the days when they said only the 5 books of Moses are true. The rest of the Bible is a lie. That used to be their credo. Now, all of a sudden, you in other books, Isaiah, Jeremiah, and they acting like, well, this scripture is talking about that, and this scripture is talking about that. but meanwhile, you saying the book is tampered with and got no proof that it was tampered with.
Right.
You know what I mean? And let me tell you something else too, man. I've been over to that side of the world. Many of their prominent mosques are set up with almost like a shrine for somebody that died. They got all kind of prominent Muslims that have a full-fledged tomb inside the mosque. And they're going in that mosque and, touching that shrine for that person and praying to that person. You know what I mean? Like, somebody that really examines the Muslim religion would know that that's not us. That's not our legacy. Black people, we cry and mourn over the dead, but we don't worship the dead. That is not our style.
That's
what I mean? Latinos, West Indians, all of them, we don't worship. We don't be keeping no dead body around. Levites, well, a little bit, y'all been a little crazy, but other than that, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, we don't do that. So yeah, that's good. You smash in the morning, but please do not let them off with, make sure the conversation got to be peppered with, but you're not an Arab.
That's it.
Like, why are you arguing with me about a religion and you're not a part of a conscious community as well? That's why they fell under Tazariyat. And now they're trying to regroup in the Caribbean to try to get new followers. But the word is coming down there too. And of course, it's going to eat them alive and it's going to break their heart because they're going to have to find out, just like the Benjamites found out before, that Haile Selassie is not a god. And neither was he Jesus Christ.
Damn right.
So we're going to find out the same about this conscious community. It's wonderful. All that information about Egypt is wonderful for a historian, but it ain't us. That's not, like why, study Egypt all you want if that's what you want to do. Look at all the records and the writing and the this and that. Now they say they found some huge thing underneath the pyramid. That's wonderful. Go ahead and research if you want to, but don't try to change your nationality now, dumb. You know what I'm saying? like you find out some information about somebody else's country, and now you want to be that country. Like that's you know what I mean? That's ignorant, and the amount of low self-esteem that generates is disproportionate. I didn't mean to go on a tangent about that, but I will finish this up if y'all don't mind. Was there another question, or can I go ahead?
No, John, I just wanted to say, General, what is the epitome of why blacks and Hispanics, you know what I'm saying, want to avoid serving, the God of our people. We want to run to the Arabs, we want to run to Christianity, we want to run to Pan-Africanism, we want to run to Buddhism. Why is it that our people are avoiding the one and true God that we should serve and turn it to other nations' religion?
It's two reasons. It's one, it's many years of brainwashing, and it's also fear. I'll start with the brainwashing. In the 60s, the Muslims was teaching the Bible was tampered with. They was teaching that. They were teaching the Bible was tampered with. Don't listen to that white man's book. That's the book the white man used to enslave you. Blah, blah, blah. They pushed that very hard in the 60s and 70s and even in the 80s. They pushed that very hard. And black people took hold to it like that was right. And meanwhile, never knew that was a black man's book. It wasn't until we got a bigger voice that black people realized, wait a minute, this is not a white book. And let me tell you something else. And on the other side, those that wanted to join the society became a Christian who was teaching that Jesus was white and that Jesus's way was right. So of course, what did you have? You have black people that wanted to be pro-black, being taught the Bible was tampered with, and that it's a white man's book. And so those brothers that was more radical, more black, got away from it. Then, of course, on the other hand, you had Christians teaching those that wanted to join society, those that was, in many cases, of a little bit higher education. They was being taught that Jesus was white, but that he loved everybody, so you can join him. And so we ended up in both of those camps, totally brainwashed. And then to add insult to injury, the so-called Jew turned around and began to create black mosque in Harlem and teaching black people to convert to Judaism. They wanted to get in on the cash cow too. Muslims was making money and getting big. The Christians was making money and getting big off of the people. So they jumped on board and came down from their white synagogues and set up black synagogues. And of course, black people thought it was the most amazing thing in the world. And black people started joining these black synagogues. And so now you had all three of these religions completely brainwashing us against the scriptures. And peppered in all of that, the Muslims, because the black Muslims was influenced by the Arabs, they were calling the Israelis a gutter nation, a gutter people. If they was basically taking lines from Adolf Hitler and applying it to the so-called Jew, which made black people never want to be a Jew if you was a Muslim.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Christians, to keep their money flowing, they said Jesus died for everybody. So we don't have to go by that Old Testament. So you don't have to listen to what the Jews said, which made us reject the Jewish thing and join on to the white Jesus gonna save our lives thing. So it was total propaganda working on us. Now, when we began to wake up in the 80s, we was already breaking ground from the 60s. But by the 80s is when we started to wake up. That's when anger came up into all three of these religions. And they really became pissed that we was teaching black people that really the Bible's a black man's book. And really that those are the chosen people, that we were the chosen people in the Bible, and was cutting their religions. And so that anger made them create fear in us. Muslims were extremely intimidating during the 80s. Like Muslims would be, they was like running basically like a gang in some situations. Not all, but in many situations, they was using very hard, strong arm tactics that made people afraid. Christians just ostracized you, made you out to be filthy for not joining a church, or considered you a sinner or something filthy if you didn't go to church. Sunday came and they were all in the diners and all over the neighborhood in their Sunday best and shopping in the malls and all of that. And if you came out with your sneakers and your sweatsuit on, they knew you didn't go to church, and they treated you like you was filth. You know what I mean? They didn't want to stand next to you in the supermarket, or treated you like you was another people, and then began to preach in that mindset. You know what I mean? That's why people like Obama came out and said stuff like, you ain't a man because you just had a kid. In other words, they were ostracizing the part of Black society that would not join that church. And so as a result, Black people became fearful, and Latinos became fearful. And everybody wanted to walk the line on what it is that they want. But it took strong brothers from the Israelite school of UBK that held their damn ground. And while they were all touting proudly their philosophies, these brothers went out on them street corners and reasoned with Black people and Latino people and Native Indian people. Just straight up reasoned with them. How could this be true? How could your religion be real when this is happening and that's happening? And then eventually got confronted, of course, in many occasions by those in these religions who are still to this day trying to battle us about those religions. When in fact, we've already disproven all of them. We've already shown that they have nothing to do with us as a people. You understand? And as a result, but they're still trying to hold on. So I just wanted to give you that synopsis on that question. Salakia, I yield.
Nah, that's why I appreciate that, General. Damn right, General. General, did you want to finish the scripture?
Yeah, let's just finish it right quick if we could, Akim.
Come, sir. Verse 17.
Oh, you at the end. Okay.
And the residue of the number of archers, the mighty men of the children of Kedar, shall be diminished.
You hear that? The Lord going to diminish Saudi Arabia in this battle. Go ahead.
That's right.
For the Lord God of Israel have spoken it.
That was the last verse, right?
Come, sir. That was the last
one. All right.
One.
That's it. So that's what this potential is. This Indian-Pakistan war has the potential to drag into Iran, which would raise Iran up to go to war down in Saudi Arabia, which will create a real mess in the world if it's allowed to go that way. Now, it's still early in the game. The Lord may not let it go that way, but it could. Israel could just decide to drop a nuclear bomb on Iran and change the landscape of the world. Who knows what these people got planned? Right. But they all know they playing for keeps. At the end of this, they know it's winner take all. You know what I mean? If your country don't make it out of this, you done. You're gonna be slaves for the next 1,000 years.
Damn right.
When the technology and AI and all this bullshit they done created, they know if you fall up under another nation now, it's almost no way of getting out. But that's why we hold our faith to Yahushua, because Yahushua gonna be the game changer for them. Right. While they facing each other off, they're gonna come and see the power he's coming with them 200,000 angels, and they're gonna be like, yo, we got to take him off the chessboard if we got any chance of winning. But the problem is they ain't gonna be able to take him off the chessboard, which means every empire in the world is going to fall. And once they fall, brother, like the scripture said, those gates will stay open day and night. All the wealth of these Gentiles got to be brought in. It's gonna be insane. How much we gonna gather up and how much is gonna go on, and how much repair these heathens are gonna have to do to the earth. And you gonna be living in a place, you're gonna be living in a goddamn wonderland of power and authority and wealth and safety and peace. And you ain't, somebody gonna say, man, they still having skirmishes down there in Bangladesh. You're gonna be like, you're gonna turn to them and say, "Oh yeah, what kind of food is that? Is that the latest treat? Hey man, well, I think we got the latest dessert over here. Tell me more about it." You're gonna be like, "Nah, brother, we talking about a war over there." Oh, okay. We ain't seen war in so long. That's how you gonna be living.
Damn right, son.
You're gonna be living a totally different world because of the power of Yahushua. And the Lord, both the Lord and Yahushua are gonna get the recognition they deserve. So like I hear.
Damn right, sir. Give it up.
Damn right.
Listen, which once again, the water general coming on, breaking all that down. You know what I mean? I hope y'all got that. You're gonna probably have to watch this again in the morning or watch it another day. You know what I mean? Everything the general was saying, which is why a brother shouldn't crash himself out. You know what I'm saying? On being a criminal here in America, that you got to realize, Black, Hispanic, Native, Indian, man, this truth is worth it, man. You understand? Following our King Yahushua Mashiach is worth it. You know what I'm saying? Right. Commander Jenny Hana is that ladder to lead you, you know what I'm saying, on following the real Jesus Christ. Y'all don't understand how important this brother is, but General, man, we thank you, you know what I'm saying, for holding on to this truth and being a ladder, you know what I'm saying. It's very important that you have a brother to show you how to follow Christ. Paul said, "Be ye followers of me, even as I am of Christ." You know what I'm saying? So, General, what you're doing with this truth in the ISUBK is monumental. We can't say that enough, General. You know what I mean? So we appreciate yourself.
Most High Christ. Can I just say one thing, if I could, Malquah, before we go?
Please.
Like, this truth that been handed down to us from Christ is so valuable to us, and I'm gonna just show you a small example that could have done so much for us. One, if his father would have known and been taught that the scriptures say we are to be reincarnated, he would have known that he's going to get that boy back. That he didn't have to just jam himself up on top of it. He would have got that boy back.
That's right.
He would have known that, and it would have been helpful to his grief to have known he was getting him back, and then he would have worked towards that day that he would get him back, which would have been working towards the kingdom of heaven. Like learning this truth makes you avoid so many obstacles that would otherwise just wipe you out. And I know sometimes you just want to flex out and just show these devils your power, but Christ said, "Revenge is mine. Wait till I rise up to the prey."
Damn
You
right.
guys, you're gonna see a day. You're gonna get every ounce of your revenge in that day.
Damn
you know what I
right.
mean? Like the scripture said, we're gonna sing aloud on our bed with a two-edged sword in our hand, binding not just any old cop. We're gonna bind the kings with feathers of iron.
Damn right.
That's what we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So I
right.
yield the water to the water for having me. The water to Yahushua for giving us this truth.
Damn right.
Damn right, sir.
Man, again, we want to big up Commander Jenny Hunter. You know what I mean? It was excellent, you know what I mean? Round table of truth. Again, we're gonna go ahead and salute the general out before we close on the show. Allah Wap Pun Yah.
The water Akim. Yahweh Shimmy on Shah Thumb. The water for having me, Akim. The water for having me, Cat. Appreciate y'all. Y'all take care.
No sweat, General. Listen, you can catch, you know what I mean, for those tuning in who may not know, you can catch Commander Jenny Hunter every Monday night.
That's right.
On the Black Watch.
That's
you know
right.
What I'm saying, from, I believe, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Catch Commander Jenny Hunter on the Black Watch. Tune in to everything ISUBK. Go to ISUBK.com. We got a school in damn near every city. If you want to learn this truth, you know what I mean, please go to that website and get in class. It's very important that you get in class and learn this truth. Jenny Hunter just broke down what's taking place with this Third World War. And if you're a Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, we at the end. You know what I'm saying? And we're not hopeless. You know what I'm saying? Our King is in Jesus, in so-called Jesus Christ, Yahushua Mashiach. We do have hope, you know what I'm saying? And it's in that brother, you know what I mean? So take hold of this truth, because this is all we got. This is all we got right here. I want to give it up to my host, you know what I mean, for rocking it out as normal. Catch the round table of truth. Every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central, we get it on right here on the round table of truth. And man, please support us. subscribe, you know what I'm saying, like the page, and man, let's continue to push this truth. To my right, I want to give it up, you know what I mean, to none other than Officer Lamaki Salaki. I'm so used to going to you first, Lamaki, you understand? Also, go ahead.
I just want to shout out something real quick.
Please.
So always go like, follow, share, subscribe, all the Round Table of Truth. Social media pages. If you want to make a donation, there's a link in the chat. But I want to let you know that Ice Pick Chicago, Milwaukee, and a lot of other Midwest zones will be in Indianapolis tomorrow. Under Captain Kaposh, under Captain Kamau Commander Hana. We'll be out there on the corner street of Washington Street and Meriden Street tomorrow from 1 p.m. until. And not only that, we always got to shout out our next coming up events in UPK. We have Charlotte, North Carolina. They will be having and starting off the UPK's cookouts. You understand? Their cookout will start off on July 3rd. So make sure to go out, save your bread up, and go attend and support those brothers out in Charlotte, North Carolina. And of course, we got to make sure to shout ourselves out. Chicago, we will be having our own Midwest Fire Weekend like we do, I believe this was the 7th annual or 8th annual. You understand? We'll be out here July 31st through August 3rd. You understand? So make sure to save up your bread, get your family, your friends, all Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians. Go support. You understand? Get yourself prepared for one hell of a year in 2025.
That's right. Damn right. You know what I mean? Also, I want to give it up, you know what I mean, to Captain DeBar Ma, you know what I'm saying, the captain over Milwaukee, you know what I mean, Wisconsin, for joining us tonight. Any closing word, Cap?
Oh shoot, man, just this, Cap. If you're in the Milwaukee area, you in Wisconsin, period. Just make sure that you give us a call if you want to soldier up. This ain't for everybody, but if you one of them real niggas and you want to graduate Real Nigga University, you make sure you give us a call in Milwaukee.
That's right.
At 414-293-3869.
Damn right.
Damn somebody will pick up the phone for you. We'll always be at the school. Just come through. Yeah, we're gonna figure it out.
And besides the phone number, what's another way that they can get in contact with ISUPK Milwaukee?
So you can go to ISUPK Milwaukee. It's the same on all platforms except.
All right, so you know what I mean. So this was another breakdown podcast, you know what I mean? Special edition, Commanding General Yana, basically breaking down the Pakistan and India war, you understand? Moving closer and closer, World War III, you know what I mean? So to everybody watching, like, share, subscribe, you know the thing already. Go over to Commanding General Yana's page, you know what I mean? The real Commanding General Yana, I'm have a show. If you like that breakdown, you know what I mean? Tonight, see? Well, guess what? Commanding General Yana do it every Monday night when break down biblical prophecy and just break down the situations concerning Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian. You know what I mean? Every Monday on the Black Watch. So go over to Commanding General Yana page, follow him page, so you can, you know what I mean, get the show every Monday night, the Black Watch. You understand? All right, so subscribe to ISUPK Jamaica, you know what I mean? Facebook pages as well. Go over to ISUPK North Carolina, you know what I mean? Durham, North Carolina as well. Subscribe to every ISUPK page. Again, this is the Breakdown Podcast where we break down the strongholds that hold back the children of Israel in Jamaica, you know what I mean? Trinidad, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America. And with that, shalom.